Let's talk about enterprise architecture. For a lot of companies, it feels like this: expensive, complicated puzzle. You pour money and resources in, but the real value just seems to disappear. Well, today, we're going to solve that puzzle. We're going to lay out a super clear roadmap that shows exactly how you can turn EA from just another cost center into a genuine competitive advantage.
Okay, let's just get right to the elephant in the room, shall we? You're spending a ton of time, a ton of money, and a ton of resources on enterprise architecture. But where does it actually go? And more importantly, what are you getting back for it? It's the question that keeps a lot of business leaders up at night.
And look, if you've ever felt that kind of skepticism, you are definitely not alone. Research backs this up. It's a super common feeling. EA can feel like this abstract, kind of theoretical thing that costs a fortune, and the value is, well, it's hard to pin down. The good news is, it really doesn't have to be that way.
So why is the value of EA such a puzzle? Well, the first step to solving it is just making sure we're all on the same page, speaking the same language. So let's kick things off with a really clear definition.
I want you to think of enterprise architecture as the master blueprint for your entire organization. Seriously, this is not just some IT diagram tucked away on a server somewhere. It's the one thing that shows how your business strategy, your day-to-day processes, and all your technology actually connect and work together. It's the map that shows you are here and helps you plot the fastest, most efficient route to where you want to be.
But here's the thing, a definition is not enough. A blueprint is totally useless if you don't actually use it to build something, right? To get from that initial investment to real, tangible business results, you need more than a definition. You need a roadmap that shows you the way, step by step by step.
And that is exactly what this value model gives us. It lays out the entire journey to EA value in 3 crystal clear steps. It's the map that's going to take us from that initial investment all the way to measurable bottom-line impact.
So here are the 3 stages of that journey. First, we're going to see how you convert that investment into actual tangible assets. Then, we'll look at the absolutely crucial step of putting those assets to work to create real impact. And finally, we'll connect that impact directly to your company's performance. So let's start at the beginning.
Our first stop is the conversion process. This is where you transform your investment, money, time, people, into valuable EA assets, things like models, standards, and roadmaps. But, and this is a huge but, how you fund this step is one of the biggest predictors of whether you're going to succeed or fail.
And this right here is a critical mistake that so many organizations make. They fund EA like it's a project, with a fixed end date and a fixed budget. But the research is really clear on this. That mindset actively gets in the way of success. For EA to really work, it has to be treated as an ongoing business capability, with continuous funding that lets it grow and evolve right alongside the company.
And it's not just about the money. Success in this first step really hinges on getting all the human and strategic parts right too. You've got to have strong support from leadership and super clear communication. That's the foundation. Then you need the right team using the right tools, all guided by a vision that actually serves the business, not just the IT department. And the whole thing has to be held together by strong governance. You nail these 6 things, and you've successfully turned that cash into genuinely valuable assets.
Okay, so you've created these high-quality, amazing EA assets. You're done, right? Nope, not even close. This next step, the use process, is actually where most EA initiatives completely fail. It is the critical link between having a plan and actually doing something with it.
Let's just be blunt about it. Beautiful diagrams and detailed roadmaps that are just sitting on a shelf or on a server somewhere create zero value. To have any impact at all, they have to be actively used by the people in the organization.
And the reality in a lot of companies is pretty stark. As this quote points out, EA artifacts are often used poorly, or they're just plain useless or out of date. All that effort from the first step, it just gets wasted in this gap between creation and action. This is where value goes to die.
So how do you bridge that gap? The key is pretty simple. You have to make EA useful for everyone. You don't hand a giant, super technical blueprint to the marketing team. No, you create customized reports that answer their specific questions. You integrate EA right into the project management lifecycle, into IT operations. You make it part of how people already do their jobs, not some extra chore they have to deal with.
And now, we finally arrive at the payoff, the competitive process. This is the final and honestly the most important step. This is where all the previous hard work gets translated into real, measurable business performance.
This is where you can see the direct line to value.
When EA is used the right way, you get much better alignment between the business side and the IT side. And that alignment, it leads to improved agility. You reduce the complexity in your systems, which leads directly to real cost savings. You improve your project planning, and that leads to happier customers. This is the ROI we were looking for right at the beginning.
But it is important to remember that this final step doesn't happen in a vacuum. Major events like a company merger or a big shift in the market can absolutely impact your performance, even if you have a perfect EA practice. The big takeaway here is that your architecture and your whole organization has to be ready to adapt, always.
So now that we've walked through each stage of the map, let's just take a step back for a second and look at the entire value chain altogether. So here it is, the full journey, our complete roadmap to value. You start by converting your investment into assets. Then, you use those assets to create an impact. And finally, you translate that impact into real performance. It's a chain, and if any single one of these links breaks, the entire investment is at risk.
So if you take away only one single thing from this explainer, let it be this. Getting value from enterprise architecture is not a one-and-done project. It's a continuous, living process that has to be actively managed from start to finish. It is a capability you build and nurture, not just a task you complete and check off a list.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. Take a look at your own organization. Are you simply funding an EA initiative and kind of hoping for the best? Or are you actively managing each step of this value chain, from conversion to use to performance? Because the answer to that question will determine whether EA remains a frustrating puzzle or becomes one of your most powerful tools for success.